Taking care of farmland, pastures, and water is important to most Alberta ranchers. But for Vince and Wanda Lohman, simple upkeep is not enough. Their love of farm life, livestock, and working the land has spurred them into adopting environmentally sound strategies. This drive to conserve and constantly enhance their land has resulted in the Lohmans being awarded with the prestigious Alberta Beef Producers Environmental Stewardship Award for 2005. The Lohman Ranch lies on the banks of the Little Red Deer River west of Innisfail in central Alberta. Vince says their attitude toward environmental stewardship comes from one clear goal for the future.
We're trying to achieve a sustainable farm that our kids or next generation can continue and make a living off it and do it without disturbing or wrecking the environment.
In 1983, when Vince and Wanda started farming, the ranch consisted of just the home quarter and no cattle. Today, there are 6 quarters of hay, cropland, and pasture, supporting a 120 head cow herd and a small custom feeding and calving business. Though financial strains from BSE and drought have hindered recent expansion efforts, the Lohmans have tried to keep their environmental sustainability projects on track. They began environmental planning in the late 70s when Vince and his father observed the impact to the river and its banks where his cattle accessed the water supply. They decided to switch to dugouts and eliminate livestock access to the river. Since then, they have worked to continuously improve their watering systems, now replacing the dugouts with a series of stock waters fed by pipelines.
We wanted to get good, clean water for the cattle. And by using stock waters, that's eliminated the problem of them walking in and making muddy water. And as well as they're walking on firm soil, so we have less foot rot problems now. And I'm sure we have to have better gains in the summer with cattle drinking good water compared to poor water.
Besides water, soil erosion and grassland conservation have been key elements in the Lohmans' environmental planning. Planting of caraganas along the river has prevented erosion of its banks and prevented sedimentation in the river. Shelter belts placed around much of their land have provided windbreaks for the cattle and helped to decrease soil erosion. The Lohmans practice rotational grazing and rotational cropping. 200 acres of the farm remains in hay, and 300 acres is planted on a rotation using barley, oats, and alfalfa. The grazing of the pasture is managed by electric fencing.
The pasture split into 2, and there's stock water in the middle, and we just, with electric fence, we move them back and forth. And that allows us to graze the grass and then take the cattle off it and then let the grass regrow again. And we don't mind leaving some extra grass there because that is thatch, and that produces shade for the small grasses that are growing, and it recovers quicker if it's not chewed to the ground and then starts over.
Vince is currently serving as vice president of the Friends of the Little Red Deer River Society. Environmental pressures on the river are mounting.
There's a lot of people who use this river, and it's used 12 months of the year.
The society is helping residents and producers along the river adopt sustainable practices so that the river remains in good health for all users. Vince and Wanda are also directors of the Friends of the Eastern Slopes Association and members of Ducks Unlimited Canada, the Grey Wooded Forage Association, and the Foundation for North American Wild Sheep. The Lohmans have fostered their love of farm life and respect for the environment in their children through involvement in local 4-H clubs and agricultural societies, and by involving them in the family operation.
Everybody's included in the family farm because it's a mixed farm and it requires a lot of help at different times of the year.
This past year, the Lohmans completed an environmental farm plan, finding the exercise extremely worthwhile in helping them plan for the years ahead. Work is now underway to eliminate the last remaining dugout and replace it with a well and solar-powered pump. To optimize the protection of riparian areas, additional water pipeline construction is underway. The Lohmans are also interested in pursuing other stream bank protection projects. It's obvious that work to reduce environmental impacts never stops for Vince and Wanda Lohman. deserving winners of the Alberta Beef Producers Environmental Stewardship Award for 2005.
Our goal is to see our family continue to farm and have it to be a sustainable farm that's you can be proud of and that they can be proud of, and something that's going to make a living for them. It seems like bigger is better, but I don't think always bigger is better, and I think that the family farm, there's still a place for it in the future.